Hello, everyone, and welcome to Eldredge Extra. It's episode 6, and we bring in someone from a school that head coach Kelly Nicholson knows very well. Khadim Diaw from Loyola Marymount joins us today. Khadim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's start off with this. It's always a special moment when you get the call, when you get the news. How did you get the news that you'd have a chance to play for the Firebirds this summer upcoming?
Well, Coach Nicholson's usually at LMU, so he actually just told me in person. I see him pretty much every weekend, it seems like, at the field. And so, he said I'd have a chance to play at the Cape, and obviously that's a great feeling.
It seems like I know he's not on the coaching staff. He used to be way back in the day as a pitching coach. And I know your current pitching coach actually is a Firebirds alum and used to be a beast as a closer for Arizona. But what are your impressions of the Firebirds from afar, Coach Nicholson from afar? Do you have any expectations for what Cape Cod Baseball League action will be like?
I've heard great things about the Firebirds and what they do and the seasons that they've had. As far as like the details, I'm actually pretty new to it. I don't know too much, so getting out there will be a fun new experience. I'll get to learn a whole bunch of new things, but I'm definitely excited and looking forward to the opportunity to get to play for the Firebirds.
Are you California through and through, or have you ever been to the East Coast?
I was actually born in Hoboken, New Jersey, and my mom's from Long Island, New York, so some ties to the East Coast for sure. I'll have family coming to some games, but I've grown up in California.
Well, you're an exciting and kind of different ball player than we see every day. Outfielder catcher combo and then catcher leadoff hitter combo. So how would you describe yourself as a baseball player?
I am a baseball player. Like I'm just on the field. Whatever my coaches need me to do, like I'm up for it. If they had me playing short, like I'd go do it. But yeah, I use my athletic abilities to help my team win. That's pretty much it.
When you talk about your defense, and we mentioned you play all three outfield positions, and then you play catcher, how much, well, number one, how much different is it training for both positions, but also how much pride do you put into your defensive game?
I put a lot of pride into my defensive game. I obviously have to split time working on both positions. Catching is a much harder position. More of my focus goes towards catching. And then as far as like outfield, that's just taking the live reps during BP, seeing ball trajectory, getting good jumps. And then obviously I think knowing your other outfielders helps in terms of knowing what you have to cover. We have a great center fielder. So when I'm in right, I know that ball's in the gap he's got. I don't have to necessarily go run full speed after them. So it's kind of a combination of things, but catching is definitely more difficult, and that's where I spend my most time in terms of training. And then outfield's athleticism and getting good jumps on the ball.
Has it always been important for you to not necessarily hone in on one position? I know you mentioned, look, I'm a baseball player. They put me out there. I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do. But was there ever a time where you thought you'd pick one or the other, or is it just always been this way for you?
Growing up, it was definitely like I played every position. When I came to college, I was recruited as a catcher. I played only catcher my freshman year. And then sophomore year, we had a catcher that got drafted by the Phillies. He was obviously good, and I was his backup. But they wanted to get my bat in the lineup, so they tested me out in the outfield, and my athleticism kind of just helped me out there. And so now it's kind of just been whatever the team needs. I'm up for it, and yeah.
When you talk about your college career, it started off with a little bit of adversity. You played your first 8 games your freshman year. You have your back injury, and then you had a almost like a full off season to recover and then get right back to it. And you said it, you had to kind of learn a different position on the college level to get your bat in the lineup because your bat's been so good at the college level, especially this year. We're kind of picking at numbers here because your sophomore year you hit 315. Now you're hitting 400 your junior year. Were there any changes between your sophomore and junior year that's really allowed you to get even better when the numbers are just otherworldly?
Yeah, I mean, our coaching staff this year changed. They've helped me a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, our head coach used to work for the Minnesota Twins. He's very knowledgeable hitting wise. Our hitting coach is very knowledgeable, and they've just helped me in terms of approach and some swing path stuff, which has just helped me stay consistent. Last year, I kind of had ebbs and flows. I obviously had good numbers at the end, but there were some points in the season where I wasn't producing, and this year I've just felt consistent the entire time.
Well with the Firebirds, with the pitching coach Matt Troop. So he was a 2-year Firebirds player, and then he was the pitching coach in 2019 as well. Was he a part of that connection with Kelly? And what have you heard from him in terms of what the Orleans experience is like? I think he got the nickname the Mayor of Orleans when he was there. So what have you heard from him?
We actually haven't talked too much about the specifics. That's funny. I might bring that up today. The mayor, that's funny. But he was the one that told me that Kelly was probably going to offer me a contract. So he definitely helped in that scenario. But I think also my advisor for the draft this year, he also was a Firebirds coach. So just a lot of connections to the Firebirds. And I know that Kelly's Coach Nicholson's a great guy, and he's spoken to the team before. So I'm really just excited.
Obviously before LMU and now before the Firebirds, what got you into baseball, and maybe what was that moment where you knew this is something I really want to pursue?
Yeah, so growing up, I played soccer, and then that was pretty much my main sport. And then I kind of just got into like a little league, and I like baseball. I went to middle school with a lot of the kids that were at the little league. That was the sport was baseball kind of. So I just continued playing and then took that into high school, and I didn't really have too many offers out of high school, but LMU gave me an opportunity and I took it, and I've kind of just enjoyed competing. I like soccer too, but baseball, I remember watching like MLB Tonight and Quick Pitch and all that stuff when I was younger, and so I guess it was just a calling more so than like any one specific thing.
You mentioned coming out of high school, not super highly recruited, or at least you flew under the radar. You stay at home. I know you grew up in Jersey, but you're a California guy, Notre Dame high school. And you even mentioned a coaching change, right? And, you've gone through personal adversity, but a lot of times these days it feels like coaching change, something happens, people may want to leave, but you're still there. And obviously it's worked out for you really, really well. How important is it for you, whether, something happens this summer for you at the next level, or you go back for one more year there, to do it with LMU?
Yeah, I think LMU's been a great place. In terms of it's in a great location, obviously still close to home. But the LA area is obviously great. And then the coaching staff has been excellent in terms of helping me develop as a player. I think I took another big step this year with the new coaching staff in terms of my just personal development. And so I think if the draft doesn't work out, I will be back at LMU and excited to continue to learn from them. And obviously in their second year, I expect them to be even better coaches. They're still figuring things out this year as expected, and that's okay. And next year, I think they'll be even better.
Let's learn a little bit more about your path as well. You said you grew up in New Jersey, you have those East Coast ties. When did you guys make the move over to California? What was kind of that whole upbringing? You've had a lot of changes in your life, and now officially in California, but for a summer coming back to the East Coast. So what was that path like? When did you guys have to make that move?
Well, I only was in the East Coast for like 1 year, so when I was 1 year old, so I don't really remember it, but I remember plenty of times going back. Usually like every 2 summers, I'll go back to New York, and I have family out there. So I'm familiar with the Cape, Massachusetts, New York area, Maine. So yeah.
Want to bounce back a little bit to that draft talk. Obviously, if you're picked, you'd be the first player of Senegalese descent to be picked in the MLB draft. What would that mean to you?
I mean, that's a pretty cool thing. I didn't even know that until recently. I guess I just never really thought about it. With the draft being so many years, being the first to do something has always got to be pretty cool. So that's that. I definitely will cherish that, and I'm excited for that opportunity.
Obviously, well, Cape Cod Baseball League, the alumni speaks for itself, right? And I know you played in the Alaska Baseball League, which is also a really good league, and has a reputation of developing great talent there too. But what do you think is maybe your favorite part of summer ball, or the most interesting part of summer ball for you personally, where you've got the wood bat and it's maybe a different look for scouts to see what you can do competing against really the best of the best every single night?
Yeah, I think it is refreshing in terms of you get to play against some new players. Obviously, in California, you're playing against the same guys, especially growing up playing high school baseball in California. You see the familiar names. So to kind of get a branch out and play against players from the SEC, ACC, some guys that you haven't seen, you get to compare yourself, to those players, and it's exciting to get challenged for sure.
each player when we interview them, what kind of player they, look at their numbers. They're usually very, very good. What do you like off the field? What are your interests? I know it was a conversation with a few of your teammates that they like to go do hot yoga on off days. So what are the certain things that you like to do, when you're not on the baseball field?
Yeah, so when I'm not on the field, I like going to the beach nearby. I build Legos. I don't play with them, but like the nice like kind of design pieces for the room. I read books. It's a big thing on the flight over. I'll definitely be reading some type of book. And I'd say that's pretty much it. Legos and books are kind of my two free things that I've held on to. I play video games too, FIFA, big FIFA player, still stick with my soccer roots. But those are like the three main things that I do.
Who's your team? Who's your soccer team?
It depends what league, but if I just was kind of loading up a game, I'd go Barcelona.
He's choosing the 5-star team. That's giving yourself a little bit of an advantage there,
Yeah,
no?
I mean, if I'm playing against someone that's not great, I'll let them pick whatever team they want. But yeah, Barcelona is my go-to.
Well, Adim, we really thank you for joining us. We're super excited to see you play this summer. Season starts in, well, just about a month from today. So best of luck for the rest of the season. I know you guys play against Irvine today and then last regular season series against San Francisco this weekend. So best of luck, and we'll see you in just a couple weeks.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.